Hello everyone! In our previous lesson, you learned how to translate verbal phrases into algebraic expressions or equations. So for today, we will do the reverse of that, which is translating algebraic expressions or equations to verbal phrases. But before we do, we have to recall first the important keywords for each operation, which we will use to translate expressions or equations into verbal phrases or statements. First, for addition, we have sum, more than, plus, increased by or added to, and total. For subtraction, we have take away, diminished, less than or less. We have minus subtracted from or subtracted to, decreased by, and difference. For multiplication, there are times, multiplied or multiplied by, multiplied to, product, twice, which means 2 times, and thrice, which means 3 times. For division, we have divided by, quotient, divided into. Let us also take note of equal, which can be translated as is or will be. Or you could just simply say equal or is equal to. Then for exponent, we have square or cube. We also have the power of 5, 6, 7, and so on. So let's have this mathematical expression. Okay, we have 20 plus 5. The operation involved between 20 and 5 is addition. So we have to remember any keywords related to addition, which we recalled already earlier. Okay, so to translate 20 plus 5 into words, we can simply say the sum of 20 and 5, 20 increased by 5, 5 more than 20, or 5 added to 20. We also have the total of 20 and 5, or simply 20 plus 5. So take note again of the keyword more than and added to. Because of the word than and to, you have to interchange the position of the numbers when you write it into symbols. That's why even if we made mention of 5 first in this statement or in this phrase, we wrote 20 first in our symbols. Now let's proceed to some algebraic expressions and equations. We have x plus y. Again, the operation involved here is addition. So let us remember related words to addition or keywords associated with addition. Since we are going to add x and y, we can say that we have here the sum of x and y, x increased by y, the total of x and y more than x, or y added to x, and x plus y. Next, what if we are given a minus 4 is equal to 7? This time we are given an equation. So we have here, when we translate it into words, it should be in a sentence form. Okay, so we can say here, the operation involved is subtraction. So we have to recall all keywords related to subtraction. First, we have the difference between a and 4 is 7. Okay, so aside from using is for equal, you can simply say the difference between a and 4 is equal to 7 or equals 7. We can also have a number subtracted by 4 is 7, or a number deducted by 4 is 7, or a number minus 4 is 7. Okay, again for is, you can make use of equal or is equal to. Another one, 4 less than a number is 7, and a number decreased by 4 is 7. Okay, so we have here a number. Remember, whenever you're given a number, you have to use a variable to represent it, okay, or to translate it into symbols. So since we have here a letter A, you can say a number, or you can just make mention of A as it is. Another one, we have xy equals 15. We have here two variables written side by side, so that means the operation involved between them is multiplication. So for us to translate this one into words, we just have to use keywords related to multiplication, and those are the product of x and y is 15, x multiplied by y is 15, x times y is 15. Okay, again, instead of using is, you can use equals or is equal to. Next one, we have 4x over 7 equals 50. We are given here a fraction, so that means the operation involved between them is division. So we have here the quotient of 4x and 7 is 50. 4x divided by 7 is 50. or the product of 4 and x divided by 7 is 50. Okay, so it's important to say that it's the product of 4 and x before you divide it by 7, so that it would mean that you have to multiply first 4 and x, because if you just simply say 4 times x divided by 7, it could mean 4 times x divided by 7, like this one. So it should be the product of 4 and x to make sure that you will multiply 4 and x first before you divide by 7. So it will be 4x, then divide 7. Next, you have 2c plus 3d. Okay, so in here we can have it as twice c increased by thrice d, because the operation involved between 2 and c is multiplication. Same thing goes for 3 and d. Remember, 2 and 3 are numerical coefficients, and numerical coefficients multiply the variables. Okay, so this one is 2 times c, which you can also say as twice c, and this is 3 times d, which is the same as thrice d. Okay, so you can also say thrice d more than twice c, or thrice d added to twice c. We can also have the sum of twice c and thrice d, the product of 2 and c increased by the product of 3 and d. Okay, so again, it's important to say the product of 2 and c increased by the product of 3 and d. Okay, to make sure that what you will add are the products of 2c and 3d. Okay, because if you say the product of 2 and c increased by 3 multiplied to d, it could mean 2c plus 3, then you will multiply this one by d, or all of them by d. Next, we have x squared minus 4y equals 20. So we have here an exponent and the operation subtraction. So we can translate it as the difference between the square of x and the product of 4 and y is 20. You can also say the square of x subtracted by the product of 4 and y is 20, or you can also use decreased by. Then the product of 4 and y less than the square of x is 20. Again, we made use of product of to make sure that 4 and y are always together, instead of just saying the 4 times y and so on, because we have here another term. Another one, we have 9ab minus 3. You can translate it as the product of 9a and b subtracted by or decreased by 3. You can also say 3 less than the product of 9a and b, the difference between 9ab and 3. Then, last one, we have c plus 5 minus 6. Take note that c and 5 are grouped together. So that means it should be simplified first. And to make sure that it will be simplified first, we have to use the keyword the sum of. Okay, again, if an addition between two numbers or more than numbers is enclosed in a parenthesis, we have to make sure to use the sum of. Same thing goes if you have subtraction inside a grouping symbol like c minus 5. You will use the difference between c and 5. Make sure to use the difference. Okay. So we have 6 less than the sum of c and 5. Another example, we have x squared minus y squared equals 90. So this will be the difference between two numbers which are squared. Okay, so we have the square of x minus or decreased by or subtracted by the square of y is 90. You can also say the difference between the square of x and the square of y is 90. And last one, we have the square of y less than or subtracted to the square of x is 90. So that will be all for today. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you for listening.